From Storm Tracker 6, this is Forecast First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
Grand Ledge is waking up this morning, along with the rest of mid-Michigan, to some pretty chilly temperatures. At the moment, we're seeing temps that are right in the mid to low 30s, and even if you have a little bit of a breeze, that makes it feel like the 20s. If you're heading out to the school bus stop this morning, bundle up. Those temperatures will be near freezing when you head out, but when you head back, it's going to be a little bit warmer and slightly cloudier. These clouds are going to give you some rain eventually, and we'll look at the timing on that coming up as 6 News This Morning continues.
WLNS is here for you with 6 News This Morning.
Good morning, Mid-Michigan. It's Wednesday, November 13th. I'm Jorma Duran.
And I'm Megan Vaselli. Thank you so much for joining us.
6 News is here for you now with this morning's top stories, but first we begin with some breaking news.
Take a look. Lansing firefighters responded to this home on Lauderhill Circle just after 2:30 this morning. We're told everyone inside at the time escaped unharmed, including 2 dogs that were rescued.
First responders reported smoke and flames coming from the front windows. Crews worked quickly to douse the fire and bring it under control. We've not been told if there's a cause, but we'll keep checking and update you when we know more. Now back to our top story. 6 News is your local election headquarters. The now President-elect Donald Trump will meet with the outgoing Commander-in-Chief, President Joe Biden, at the White House later this morning.
President Biden invited Mr. Trump to talk with him in the Oval Office at 11 a.m. However, we've learned future First Lady Melania Trump will not attend.
Melania Trump isn't going to meet First Lady Jill Biden. Several media reports suggest Mrs. Trump is still angered over a federal raid of her husband's Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida, where the government seized a cache of White House files. Nevertheless, President Joe Biden says he welcomes the future 47th president, Donald Trump, to Washington for what's expected to be a discussion on the transition of leaders early next year. Mr. Trump didn't host a similar meeting in 2020 after the Republican challenged Biden's victory 4 years ago.
Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer now speaking out about the loss of Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris. Governor Whitmer played an influential role supporting the Elect Harris campaign. Now she says she'll strive to work together with the Trump team to do what's best for Michigan.
Trying to focus on where we can find some shared priorities. Obviously, there will be areas in which we don't agree. I don't agree with anyone on everything, and so that's not going to be a surprise. But, we have worked with the Trump administration before. We'll figure out how to work with the Trump administration going into this last 2 years of my term.
Governor Whitmer also told Capitol correspondent Tim Skubic she's outraged about the weekend display of Nazi flags in Howell and Fowlerville. She denounced the act, which happened while a community theater group performed a play about the Holocaust.
A potential candidate to become America's Secretary of Education is now floating the possibility of mandating Bibles in all classrooms nationwide, despite a guaranteed separation of church and state in the U.S. Constitution. Oklahoma State School Superintendent Ryan Walters has told our parent company Nexstar-owned publication The Hill that he would require the Bible in every U.S. classroom should he be offered the top education post. Oklahoma public schools now include biblical teaching. In Walters' opinion, teaching of history must include lessons in the Bible. He's being sued for his decision to implement the mandate in Oklahoma.
A group will hold a rally at the state capitol later today. They say they want Michigan's lame duck Democratic Party-controlled legislature to pass bills in support of renters' rights and driver licenses for all. The We the People Action Fund will gather on the west steps of the State House at 10 o'clock this morning. They support a series of bills that's pending right now in both the Michigan House and Senate. One of the bills would allow anyone to get a driver license, regardless of their immigration status. 6 other bills focus on the rights of tenants, including topics like eviction, rental junk fees, and lifting the ban on rent stabilization.
In a little less than 2 weeks, Americans will pause to celebrate Thanksgiving, and new numbers from a Michigan economic expert who follows retail pricing show shoppers should see slightly lower prices this year to purchase Thanksgiving supplies.
This economy is a little weird right now in that we have about half the people doing really, really well and about half the people doing not so well. So for that group that's not doing quite as well, they're going to be very price sensitive and they're going to shop around. And this year it looks like there's a lot of variability in those prices across stores. So there's a reason to move around and see what's there.
He also recommends shoppers compare house labels to name brands to find even deeper savings.
A tornado ripped through parts of northern Oakland County this week, and this morning people there continue assessing the damage. A church is among the many buildings impacted, but the pastor says it could have been much worse.
It's absolutely blessed that no one got injured and the damage is no worse than it is. We just counted a blessing from God, and now we're looking to see what we can do to recover.
The tornado was registered as an EF0 with sustained winds of up to 65 miles an hour. A twister also impacted parts of Gratiot County, including a cemetery southwest of Ithaca. It suffered minor damage and several trees also were uprooted. There have been no reported injuries.
From Storm Tracker 6, this is Weather on the Sixes, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
Well, no concerns about tornadoes today. In fact, we aren't even going to be seeing much in the way of rain until we get overnight tonight. It's dry out on the Capitol camera, even though it's cold outside. Temperatures are right around freezing in most spots, now at 30 degrees in Lansing, seeing the 20s up towards Alpena, and even colder air more towards the East Coast. We're now starting to transition some warmer weather in, and with it, you see clouds and rain. Now that rain extends from Minnesota down towards Oklahoma, and there's another system over towards the Pacific Northwest that's getting ready to head towards Montana and pretty much take a similar track, giving us additional chances for rain later in the forecast. Looking at the water vapor imagery, remember the oranges and the reds, that's dry air. You have a bit of it ejecting out of the deserts into Texas, but ahead of it, there's a streamer of gray that extends up towards us. That's our air mass. It's coming in from down towards Texas, Mexico, and can even have its ties back down towards the Pacific Ocean. We aren't going to be seeing rain today, so it's a green paw for Cali. Great news for all the pets outside rolling around in the leaves. But with the recent rain that we have had, those leaves might have a little mold on them. So maybe keep your pets in the grass away from the leaves if you don't want to have to clean them. We do have temperatures in the 50s today, so any pets that have longer fur coats should be able to run around without getting too overheated.
That's good. Good news.
Optimism.
There you go.
It's a good thing.
That's the way to do it.